So on this today's session, on the topic of COVID-19 impact on African para-athletes performance and coach support in the lead up of the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games, is set to celebrate the 1 year to go to the Tokyo Paralympic Games next year, and is expected to address the need to find new and innovative solutions to ease the effect of COVID-19 on the African para-athletes and NPCs. So this includes finding a way to engage with fans in order to ensure safe sports event in the future while maintaining the workforce, creating new opportunities model and venue strategy. This will also allow all stakeholders to work corporately as a team with the objective to address the current challenges and to facilitate future sport events that are safe and enjoyable for all para-athletes. So before handing it to our moderator, Mr. Leon Fisher, Acting General Manager, High Performance at the South Africa Olympic and Paralympic Committees, I would like to thank all the speakers and participants for making themselves available to share their experience with us today on this panel. So without further ado, I will let Mr. Leon to start the panel. So enjoy the debate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mustafa, and welcome all, and welcome to all the guests as well, and to the people that are following us. We are living in unprecedented times. We're all supposed to be in Tokyo enjoying the opening ceremony, and unfortunately we're all sitting at home. So while we're in uncertain times, we all need to come up with innovative ways to prepare ourselves to participate in the games in a year's time. But I'd like to ask Mr. Suleiman Kwali, just as an NPC president, just to give his thoughts on what they're doing as an NPC, and part of the NPCs of Africa, and how they handling this COVID-19 pandemic that we're going through as an NPC. So, Mr. President, over to you.
Thank you very much, Leon. It's a pleasure once again to be part of this wonderful platform. First of all, I would like to say the epidemic is really something that has been really challenging. It has caused a lot of very much disturbance, not only in the lives of individuals, but also in the lives of the para-athletes. And currently in the Gambia, what we did was, due to the lockdown and restrictions on social distancing, well, we would try to do some kind of fundraising campaign to lobby for funding and acquire foodstuff and distribute it to the athletes and members. Because we have challenges in our country in areas of the para-athletes, because 70% of the athletes are somehow people with challenges, and they depend on the street begging, and they don't have any other social incomes like most of the other countries may have. So with these challenges, we're able to do that. And then the restrictions, there's no training, there is no gatherings, there is no other activity that we do, but we make sure that we try to do whatever we could to make sure that the plight of persons with disabilities, especially the para-athletes, are really looking after that, and they are safe and sound, not to contact any kind of challenges with regards to the COVID-19. And it's really a challenge, but that's what we do without waiting for the government to do it for us, because we love it and then nothing has happened. So we took the ball by the hand and we do things on our own to make sure that our athletes are really safe.
Excellent. Is there anything that you've been doing out of the ordinary to make sure your athletes are keeping fit because of lockdown?
Yeah, we were doing a lot of things, because what we did, we had there's a creation of a website, a WhatsApp group, where we usually see our informations, and we keep giving them updates as to what is expected of them to do, and also whatever we're able to acquire from donors and lobbying from outside and inside the country. We call them up, or the staffs or volunteers usually go around and then distribute those items like sanitizers, masks, and food items. So we did that so that we make sure that they're safe and sound at their own homes and with their families as well.
Excellent. And you also said you weren't waiting for government support, you grabbed the bull by the horns, but are you receiving any government support now? Or are you still
basically, we still have not received any government support regarding this situation as it is. So that is the reason why we have to do it by ourselves, because we don't have to wait for nobody. Hence, people are not doing it. So if we keep waiting for them to come on board, we don't know how long it's going to take. Imagine since March, when the lockdown started in the country up to now, all the support that the government has ever given to the disabled community was $50 of rice, and that's not even enough for the entire disability. So that's why we do our own fundraising campaign and launch events and things to raise funds and buy food stuff and basic needs, and then give it to the athletes, because it's really a requirement for us to do. We think it's our responsibilities that we cannot just rely on the government alone. If we have other avenues to try to see how best we can able to manage and make things happen for our people, we rather do it than wait.
That's excellent. Thanks very much. I may come back to you, so don't go away. But
Okay,
what I'd like to do is now start moving to more getting insight from athletes. And we also have a representative from the RTC Athletes Commission and part of our Athletes Commission, Natalie, but we'll go to her later. I don't want to show favoritism as a South African. So I'm going to start with my sister from up north, all the way on the top of Africa, Malak from Egypt, one of our swimmers. Malak, I'm going to just ask you to give a brief introduction about yourself and what you do and your sport and where you've been, and then I'll ask you some questions. So over to you, Malak.
Okay. I'm very glad to be here. I'm Malak Abdel Shafi from Egypt. I'm qualified to Tokyo 2020. I am Africa record holder, and I got silver medal in Westworld Youth Games in 2018 at Aston.
Excellent. And I want to know how you're feeling. I know that up north, you're one of the bigger countries like us in South Africa down south, so you got a lot of infections and a lot of lockdowns like we have.
Yes.
Just your general feeling, negative, positive, what's going on, how you're doing, how's things going, how's the family life, just general, before we go to your sporting question.
Of course, at first, it don't feel good at all, yeah, because we all at home. We can't go. We are all quarantined at home. It's not good at all, yeah.
So not just psychological, I know that's a psychological effect on the athletes has been huge, but the physical aspect, not being able to get into the pool and do the proper training. How's that affected you so far? Has that been a huge thing, or have you managed to get into the pool lately and get some training done?
Yes, it's affected me a very bad way, because for 5 months we can't go to swimming, and we only make a daily fitness at home or home workout.
That's a huge problem for athletes. And how are you going to overcome that leading up to Tokyo? I think it's 365 days away, and I know for swimming you need to be in the pool every day to be ready in a year's time.
Yes.
So you're going to have to put in the hard yards. How are you going to overcome that? Does your coach have a plan for you?
Of course, we have a plan. We're starting last month. We're starting to go to swimming pool, and we're trying harder to return to on the track.
Excellent. Well, we wish you luck. Don't go anywhere. We may come back to you and ask you some more questions. So now going from swimming and coming a bit further down to the country that did beat South Africa in football, I'm going to move over to athletics, to Marcio from Cape Verde. Marcio, the same thing. If you can just do a brief introduction of yourself, just I'll unmute you quickly. Just check if you can unmute yourself and give an introduction, and then I'll pop some questions to you, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's thank you very much for inviting me for this talk about this very difficult situation we are living now, and send all my solidarity for the all Africans, athletes, and population in general. I'm from Cape Verde. I do athletics, javelin throw. I was world champion in 2015, in gold and silver medal in 2013, and I've been competing on Paralympic Games since London 2012. And I was preparing for what will be my last competition, my last Paralympic Games in Tokyo, when everything happens. And it's been very difficult dealing with this situation, even living in London. Everything went to lockdown, tracks closed, gym closed. I have stopped everything. I was very well prepared for the competition season leading to Tokyo 2020 when everything stops. And that was, we had to replan and improvise, literally improvise. If we can throw javelin on the track, we throw sticks, we throw rocks, we throw everything. We need to improvise. That's why I've been doing, me and my coach, and try to keep the shape for whatever happens next.
So that's excellent that you're improvising. I think that's the secret, is to think outside the box. The entire world has had to shut down. So the people that can think outside the box a bit more innovatively than anybody else are the guys that will probably shine more in Tokyo. Just in terms of your physical fitness and your performance, how are you maintaining that besides throwing sticks and rocks? Is there any other daily activity you're doing to try to keep fit?
The basics, basically the basics: running, jumping, flexibility, and technique. Nothing specific, because the tracks are closed, the gym are closed. We can do the specific work for the javelin throw, and it just, as I said, is improvise and keep moving every day. Don't stop. Don't stop to keep the shape and get to the Paralympic Games in better conditions possible.
Excellent. Thanks very much. Stay online. I may come back to you just now. Thanks for what the input you did, and thanks for offering your solidarity to everyone in Africa. We one continent that we really want to shine. We are a sleeping giant as sportsmen and women, and we know we're going to really take over the world pretty soon in our sporting capabilities. And it's nice to have athletes like you that can offer some sort of tips on how to keep fit in lockdown. I think from there, I'd like to move over to a coach, Constance in Cameroon. Are you there? Are you still online? I can't share her and I can't see her.
I think, Leon, I think Francis is running late, as he just...
Yeah, no, Francis. I'd like to speak to Constance from Cameroon then.
Constance, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Constance, if you can just give a brief introduction of yourself, just need to unmute.
I think she's not, she's, okay.
She's there.
Hello. Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, Mr. President. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing? If you just give an introduction of yourself, please, Constance, on what you do and what you coach.
Yes, Mr. President. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to express myself as far as my athletes in Cameroon are concerned. I'm sorry. Are you getting me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello, Mr. Okay, are you getting me?
You're cutting out a bit.
Mr. President? Hello, Mr. President?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. What I was trying to say is this: before the coming of the COVID-19 pandemic, we were engaged in some few competitions to prepare for the Tokyo 2020, but unfortunately the COVID has to come in. But when it came in and there was confinement, we were asked by the country's authority to stop any sporting activities since we could not gather. But before then, I was asked by the president of Paralympic Committee of Cameroon to give a program to follow up the athletes in the different regions, since all of them are not in Yaoundé, where we do live, and where we train at ENGS. With the confinement, since INGS, that's the National Institute for Youth and Sport, is owned by the government, and all the places were closed, it wasn't easy for us to walk. Then I had to send programs to my allied corps in order for them to train. The one the one that is in France, Mimosette, we had to carry out the video competition, the para video competition, which was not easy. I thought easy, every place was closed. The president of the committee the federation asked us to follow up our alerts. Actually easy because I'm through phone. So it is a very, very big challenge. Before then, I had our general physical preparation. September, we go to October, we go to specific preparation. But with the closing up of every place, it is a bit difficult for us. Even my allied competition, as far as the women's category is concerned, less than 45 kilograms. With COVID, I don't think my allied is going to make it. If she has not actually been putting the different activities I gave them in practice.
Okay, thanks, Constance.
Mr.
We were losing. We were losing you a bit, but just to say that we did get some of it, and it's nice to know that you gave your athletes work to do while there was lockdown and had virtual competition. That's something that I've been seeing a lot of over the years, virtual competitions, which has been helping. So well done on that, and we wish you all the best in qualifying your athletes for Tokyo 2020. I'd like to now go to one of the legends of sport, not just Paralympic sport, Olympic sport, from my own home country, Natalie du Toit, to just give a brief introduction of herself. We all probably know her, and then just to ask her some questions as a real celebrated icon on Paralympic sport. So Natalie, over to you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And I think today is an amazing, what would you call it, day in terms of 365 days to the Paralympic Games. So it's great for us all to be together and also, you know, opening the conversations and chatting about COVID-19 and moving forward and see how we can help each other. I'm a former Olympic and Paralympic swimmer and now serving on the IPC Athletes Commission or Athletes Council. And I was co-opted there, as well as on a few of the African commissions as well. So I think from my side, just thank you for having me this afternoon.
Thanks, Natalie. Just one of the questions I'd like to ask you is, what impact can you imagine the performance of African para-athletes and their chances of securing qualifying places for Tokyo based on the fact that after the shutdown, we really couldn't qualify for now, and there's going to be very limited qualifying events going forward, notably, and it's probably going to be based in Europe and America. Is going to be extremely expensive for athletes to get to. So I don't know if you can give some sort of input, and if it's something that the Athletes Council has been discussing at RPC level.
So I think first and foremost, you know, it's not just Africa that has been hit, but it has been every single country around the world. And I think that's something that it can be quite positive to know that everybody is going through very similar situations. Every athlete, and what I've come across personally, is that every athlete thinks very differently. So you could be an athlete that has been going for years, as we heard in the last Paralympic Games. Then we have athletes that are in their first Paralympic Games as well. So thinking is very different in terms of lockdown, 365 days to go. Every sport is very, very different. For example, the swimming of sport where I come from, you know, you train 4 years to be able to get to a Paralympic Games or an Olympic Games. So I think what's important to note is that we form communication, that we stay in communication as well, in terms of, you know, need to build relationships, in terms of understanding what your travel restrictions are, understanding, you know, what is happening with your international federations, your national federations, for the athletes to be in contact with their federations constantly, to see how they can help, to see what the program is in Paralympic Games, to see how, you know, they can get there. What are the criteria? When are the competitions going to open next year? So there's a lot of information that is possible to get out there. And, you know, everyone says when you get to competition that anything can happen on the day. You know, maybe there are those opportunities. It's to look for better opportunities and more opportunities to try and see how we can get our athletes to that Paralympic Games.
Thanks very much, Natalie. For those that don't know, Natalie is also chair of our Athletes Commission in South Africa. So she's not just an ex-athlete, she's also on the board, and she's been there for a few years, and she really represents well going forward. And if anybody ever wants to lean on someone that's a multiple medal winner, Natalie's the lady, and she's a great person to work with. I'd like to move on. Thanks, Natalie. I'd like to go to another coach, so to the head coach of the Gambia Paralympic Committee, Abdullah Danso. If you can just give a brief introduction of yourself, and then I'd like to ask you some questions.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone here.
Afternoon.
I am Abdullah Danso, head coach of Gambia National Paralympic Committee.
Abdullah, basically, you know, Gambia is a very active NPC in the region. I know you consider probably one of the smaller ones, but you've always been active. As the head coach of the Paralympic Committee there, what are you doing to ensure your athletes are keeping fit, getting ready, being psychologically looked after, physically looked after, nutritionally looked after, just to ensure that they get through this pandemic okay, so you can basically prepare for Tokyo in 365 days?
Yeah, thank you. Basically, as we all know that the pandemic has hit all over the world, and then at our own level here and as a coach, what I am trying to do with my team is that we create a WhatsApp group for all those that are on qualification for the Olympics Games, at least giving them a daily session, like giving them tips and then giving them guides as of how to keep themselves fit while we observe the government lockdown measure, because government is advising everybody to stay home and then be safe. So as a result, we create a WhatsApp group where we will send them, basic, information how to keep their well-being and then their diets, the training that they could do, at least to keep their fitness, not to lose everything, as opposed to once we are to meet at the stadium and do the training.
Excellent. And how do you keep in contact with them? Are you using Zoom? Are you using WhatsApp? Are you phoning? How do you keep a record of, and just to make sure that you're in constant communication with your athletes? Sorry, we lost you there?
Yes, we're using WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Okay, so electronic, yeah, and as much as you can. Well done. Congratulations and good luck for your qualifications and participation in Tokyo in a year's time.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. I'd like to go through to Hagi Drame. And Hagi, I know you're a coach, but you're also a press attaché. And I just want to know from a media side, Hagi, how are you getting out there? How are you getting the information out from a media side to ensure that your country is still aware on your athletes and your athletes are still preparing for Tokyo? And obviously with 1 year to go from today, did you have a plan? Are you rolling out a plan for Tokyo 2020?
Thank you very much, Leon. And it's great to be on this platform again, sharing with legends and top athletes. And it's always a pleasure talking to you guys. Actually, from the media perspective, it has been difficult a bit because most of the time it's very difficult to educate people, particularly those who are not in the para sports yet, to get them So there cannot be any better time than when you are approaching the Paralympic Games. This is when you can, use it as a sign of motivating others to get themselves already. The unfortunate part for me as the media press attaché of NPC Gambia is our president is well connected and is well informed. And whenever, he will never leave me alone, and he'll always try to make sure that I get the right information. And that also gives me pressure to be going further, to look for information that can help my country excel or get that qualification that we need for the Tokyo 2021. Before the pandemic, we were in Abuja, we went to Kazakhstan. This raised the awareness of para sports in this country. And many of the para athletes are getting involved because they have seen some of them moving from different places to go and participate in the name of the Gambia. And eventually they will get themselves on the media because I have a connection. I have a very good link with my colleagues and the print and the media and the electronic. Wherever we are away, they follow us and they try to give us a very fitting coverage. And that has increased the awareness of para sports in the Gambia. So going forward to Tokyo, we believe if the pandemic is away soon, that will also create a more awareness for the government to also realize para sports could be a potential tool to get things that can raise the name of the country, which basically we are trying to go into now.
That's excellent. I've been part of your media campaigns before, and they're excellent. Is there anything else that you could give advice to the other NPCs in Africa, including the African Paralympic Committee, on getting the message out there to ensure that there's a positive news story to help promote the athletes, especially now? I know just from South Africa's side, with the games being postponed for a year, we've lost lots of funding because a lot of the funding we would have got from government has now been redirected to COVID, naturally so, and importantly so, to ensure that the country is being kept safe. But we now need to find other funding, and the only way we can get other funding is through positive news stories. Is there any way anything you could give some advice to the other NPCs?
Oh yes, I can share the experience in Gambia. We're a small country like you do in the introduction, but we have lead in the sub-region with regards to moving para sports forward. Many of our sub-region countries will always count on us with regards to the technical advice, how to, sell the product to people who could be potential partners in the future. What I can advise is, and the other NPCs in Africa, there's a lot of work to be done with regards to selling our information. We have to be well committed. We have to be well dedicated with regards to the news that we give. And because it's not a secret that the able-bodied sport is more encouraged in Africa than the Paralympics or the para sports. But what we do is if you give them positive information, positive stories, and I could share a story with you. When we were going to Algeria, not many Gambians know about para sports in this country. Not many of them even believe para athletes can do a weightlifting. But because the media, the coverage that the tournament had, it creates awareness and it gives people the idea as to how you can support a para-athlete, what a para-athlete can do. Sometimes you talk to the government official, not that they don't want to do, but they do not know how to support, which way to use to get connected with para-sports. That is in the role of the media men, the press attaché, and also the administration of any NPC. You try to get the link with the media officers, with the press men. We need them more than they do because we have to go and sell a product that need to be given to the people, how they understand. But in Africa, you talk to them most of the time, the problem you see, just like you said, Lionel, is how we sell our products. Basically, we do not give the information that can, that can raise awareness, that can also encourage the government to be wanting to do more. Because even the COVID fund that we're talking about, other sports are benefiting from it. Able-bodied sports are benefiting from it. But why the COVID is not getting much is because of the information that we give our government about our sport, what we sell to them. We should not relent to feel that people are not seeing us doing well, so we will not give what we do well. We have to emphasize on what we do well in. You go for a competition, don't look at the achievements, look at the performance of the athletes. What can you give to the government? What can you give to the general body or the general membership? What have they achieved in terms of going further? If that is happening, at the end of the day, people want to partner with you Today, the government is not giving us much, but we have very genuine stakeholders who will come to us. We follow your development on social media. We follow your development in the media, and we are glad to partner with you. They come in always. Sometimes they participate in our events that we organize here. That alone inspire many of the young ones who are para athletes. If you see a minister coming to your competition or coming to your practice session, even if he's not financially supporting you, but morally you are up there, because that can create an avenue where the government will eventually get you. I think the best thing we need to do here, let us build that partnership. Let us build the partnership with the media. As for now in Africa, we need the media more than they need us. So we have to be flexible with them. We have to try and sell the product that we believe they can buy. Not only talking about the side that we are weak in, but let's also promote the side that we are very good in.
Thank you for that advice. And I just want to say thank you to the NPC of Gambia. You guys really are a leading role in terms of the press attaché and the media. And it's something that we can all take to heart and work with. I think even down south in South Africa, known as one of the bigger NPCs, you guys do way more media work than we do, and it's excellent. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I'd like to go back to Malak now. Malak, without putting you in a spot, I'd like to know the support you're receiving in terms of from your NPC and possibly your government. I don't want you to get in trouble if you don't want to answer it, but are you receiving good support during the lockdown from your NPC and your government?
In a lockdown or in general?
In general.
In general, yes. We training every day, fitness 3 times, and the traveling.
Excellent. And in terms of the Egyptian Paralympic Committee, I know they're a very strong Paralympic committee. During this lockdown, I'm pretty sure that they've also been communicating with all their athletes and keeping you safe, fit, and strong.
We're trying to, but it's about WhatsApp groups only.
Yeah. No, that's excellent. And your fellow teammates, are they all doing all right? Is there people assisting you? I know that in South Africa, we offer psychological services to our athletes, whatever they need to ensure that right now it's a very stressful situation.
Yes, it's very, so.
Yeah, I think even with me being home so much, it's also stressful. I think my wife also wants me to start traveling again. So I understand it, and especially for swimmers, because swimmers need to be in the pool all the time. I know whenever we travel, as soon as we land anywhere, the swimmers always come to go, where's the swimming pool? We want to go train.
Yes. Yeah, so much.
No, that's it. Thank you so much, Malak. Marcio, back over to you as well. In terms of the support you're getting from the Cape Verde government and the Cape Verde National Paralympic Committee, I know they're both very active. How's things going there? Just in general, how's things going with your teammates? Are you guys getting the support or not getting the support, if you're willing to answer that?
I'm living in London,
Okay.
but I'm going to talk about myself. And at the moment, I haven't got any support, and I'm training for the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games, and by myself, basically. And we're still waiting. As you said, all the governments are redirect the funding for fighting COVID-19. And even in Cape Verde, we are struggling with funding for the next season, for the competition, for the qualification, for everything. We don't have feedback from the government for now. We are waiting for the feedback for the government about the funding for the season, and which makes everything difficult for us, because we are training without know what's going to happen next, and which competitions we're going to participate to qualify to Tokyo. Is for at the moment is our big problem.
Marcia, I think that's a problem across every single National Paralympic Committee, including the big ones. I can talk from South Africa. We've had all our funding cut because a lot of the money has been redirected to fight COVID. And that just puts all our athletes, and I know a lot of people are fighting for it, but at the end of the day, the health of the country comes before sport, unfortunately. Even though sport is a nation builder, but we understand it. Our country is busy building field hospitals to take people in. So of course they're going to cut funding from where funding can be cut, and unfortunately it's always sport. But hang in there, be strong. I know the president of your NPC is very, very active, and he fights all the time for funding, not just for Cape Verde, for all of Africa.
For all of
So
Africa.
good luck, and we really hope the best for you. So please don't go. We're going to get Natalie du Toit to speak a bit more now on behalf of the Athletes Commission. So Natalie, over to you. Thanks, Marcia.
Thank you so much. I think, from my side, it's have I unmuted myself?
No, you're there. We can hear you.
Fantastic. I think from my side, it is a challenge, I think, financially, in terms of, Leon, you hit the nail on the head here in South Africa. For a lot of the athletes, we've seen some athletes doing fundraising online, on Facebook. And I think what's really important is for every athlete to stay positive, to know that we have 1 year to go. And I know that the IPC has been sending members some information, some social media posts, and they're trying to go ahead with a lot of positive information. One of them is the 1 year to go, Wait for the Greats campaign, and then also the Rising Phoenix film, which is coming out on Netflix. So I think one thing that's really, really important is that, from the bottom to the top and from the top to the bottom, that we all link. And ultimately, we just try and stay as positive can be. I know in South Africa here, a lot of our members have gone from not being able to train at all. Some have been able to do gym. Some have been in isolation at home, just training in a swimming pool, trying to tie themselves to the wall. We've seen level 2 hit down now, and athletes going back to swimming. So one thing is that everybody will go back slowly but surely. And what will happen from between now and in 365 days is what is important. So I think it's to try and keep all our athletes as positive as possible. Here in South Africa, I've seen some of the challenges, and we've seen it. It's difficult to try and hit it head on, because there are lots of moving parts, but it's to keep going. It's to keep those athletes believing, and to keep, believing in your athletes as well.
Absolutely. I think the Rising Phoenix is going to be a game changer in terms of the media and the coverage that the Paralympic movement is going to get. I've been sharing it, and I've been telling all my friends to watch it on Netflix. It's coming out soon. We have a South African in it. I don't want to brag, but we have our young Intando Mklangu there. So we're all really looking forward to it. I do have access to watch it early, and I decided not to. I'd rather watch it when it airs on Netflix in a few days' time. It is going to be a game changer. And yes, we're also pushing the 1 year to go. And we've received everything from the IPC today. And now in South Africa, our media team is working on that. And I hope the rest of the NPCs in Africa are working on that. Guys, I think that with all of that, I don't know if there's any other questions. And if not, I'd like to hand over to Suleiman again. He did open as an NPC president. So I'd like him just to give final thoughts before we move on. So Suleiman, over to you. Thank you, Natalie.
Well, yeah, I'm here. Thank you very much, Leon. Basically, I just wanted to add in something like the question that you asked my Presentachi regarding how can we able to share the information of the milestone development for our NPCs to at least move on to another level. Because what happened is, if you look at the continent, because I've been around the continent, I've been around so many events, so many countries in the world. And basically what I have learned from there is that many of the NPCs, they like to have everything on a silver plate. So in the event that you don't have everything on a silver plate, you end up having the challenges to face. And then the athletes, at the end of the day, feel the downgrade of all the challenges that the board might go through. Because we don't actually believe in what we could do or what we are able to do, and then do it better. And then, well, looking for the government to come on board and then help us in the event, or other NGOs or other private sector, or be it projects and so on. But if we depend definitely on what we have on the silver plate, at the end of the day, when it didn't come, we'll face the challenges. So for my own experience and what I would like to share on that is that like coming from a country like NPC Gambia, where it's a very small country, where all the sporting personnel in the country depend on the government, and the government have very little budget that will fund the sports in the country. And at the end of the day, football takes it all. So if you can imagine coming from a country like that, where you have that dependency, and the private sector is a small private sector, everyone runs into the private sector. So what you need to do is you need to sit and think exactly what you think is required, like put in a plan of action, and then look at the priority needs. How are you going to go? How are you going to go ahead and get this private need, or your plan of actions, your requirements? It's really a challenge, and it's very, very difficult. But the way you can able to do it is by attracting donors and attracting well-wishers, friends. Get yourself connected to people that can able to help you go through certain developments. If you're able to do that, you can able to achieve something rather than to wait for the government support all the time. So that's the kind of connection that I do. I don't wait for the government. I don't wait for anybody. And then the other part is that we make sure that we share the information to the athletes at any level. We don't have to wait for the Congress or for the AGM where you share what is happening or what is going on or what is not needed or what is required. You share with the information, whatever comes in, you go to the group and share it there. So everybody has a feel of what exactly is really in place and how is it going to be utilized, who is going to benefit from it, how is it going to be, how is it going to be, so things like that will definitely help that everybody will be on board and everybody will be aware. So there's nothing that is left out. The information is really filtered down to the last athlete in the organization, the board, everybody that is concerned. So you see, when it comes, like if you call now to any particular athlete in the game, they said, well, I want to know what is really happening to the country. How is your athlete, how is your movement going on? The athlete might have something to share with you because he does not have to wait to the AGM or to the Congress where he will get the full information on what has transpired to enable you give that information to someone else. But at any level, at any time, you can able to share what is really happening. I think that is really a milestone and is something that is really needed to be incorporated to other countries so that they can also move forward. I believe, together by sharing the information and thoughts and things that we know from each other, we can able to do it better. And we have played a crucial role in terms of the government signing and ratifying the UN Convention on the Right of Disabilities in 2013. And this 2020 July, the National Assembly ratified the disability bill. Now it's in place. So, all these things is geared towards, the improvement of persons with disabilities in the country. Though we know the implementations is just gradual, but we have worked towards achieving that. And that's, I think, people need to learn from others too.
President, something that really impressed me now is what you said is sharing of information all the time and as soon as you get it. That's something that we've picked up. We'll send information out as an NPC to the sport, but they don't always filter it down to the athletes. And then the athletes send you questions and you go, but this was sent to your federation, why don't you know it? And you're saying you get it down to the athlete as quick as possible. And I think that's something that we can all learn from. Get the information from the IPC, from Tokyo, and get it right down to the athlete as quick as possible so they know what's happening. Because sometimes you may be doing something good, but if you haven't told the athlete that, they don't know, and they could be questioning things meantime you're busy working on it. So excellent work there, Mr. President. Thank you very much for being part of this. Thanks to all the speakers. I'm now going to hand back to Mustafa, the host from SIREM Sports, to formally close this meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leon.
Mustafa, over to you.
Thank you very much to all of you guys for being here today and to give us this very rich and productive session. It was great to listen to each of you guys to tell about your point of view about the situation that we living right now, which is the COVID-19. And coming back to what Mr. Coley was saying about the silver plate, calling it the silver plate. And I think what we're doing right now is we're trying to avoid that silver plate, because today we make like from the first session that we did on the 23rd of June, we start doing something. But today we make a great step, which means to to have all the stakeholders, the para athletes and coach, and to talk about how to make things great. And I think that's what we need today, and that's what the movement or the Paralympic movement need in Africa, which is to get together to exchange and see how we can tackle all the challenge that we're facing. And so I'm just thanking you once again for giving us your time and being here and to talk with us. And I wish that we will have more time to talk and more time to talk about how to make this movement that we love so much, which is the Paralympic Games, a big movement in Africa. So thank you very much, and see you in our next sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, SIREM Sport.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.